Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. We're here today at the Maltz Museum of Jewish Heritage, and we're talking today with Steven Luckert, who is the curator of the US Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. Steven, you have curated this awesome show here, State of Deception. Talk about, first of all, what is Nazi propaganda? Because people may not really know even what that's all about.
Well, I think when you come to this show, you're going to see the variety of Nazi propaganda and the ways in which they used very sophisticated techniques to win over millions of people. And I think it is both a kind of a warning from history, but also a way in which we can think about all the messages that we're bombarded with today.
We're kind of used to propaganda, aren't we? I mean, these days because of corporations and marketing. But Hitler was really innovative in his use of a lot of techniques that we're sort of used to now. I mean, he used artists and he used art. You go look around this exhibit here and you've got graphic design, you've got film, and he was an artist himself, correct?
Yeah, Hitler drew upon his artistic background and his kind of innate knowledge of the way propaganda functions to try to sway masses of people, and he was very successful in doing that.
Right. So he hired a minister of propaganda, right? I mean, he went to that extent. Who had ever done that before?
Yeah, this was very new, and Hitler understood that you needed to reach out to millions of people, including those who didn't vote for the Nazi Party, and win them over. And so you had to use different techniques, you had to tailor your messages to them, and so the Nazis did a variety of things to win over people.
Talk about some of the specific techniques. I know Mein Kampf was published in Braille, for example, to reach out to blind people. You think about, but they were using mainstream film. They were using large events and rallies. I mean, there was nothing they stopped at to really spread the word.
Yeah, the Nazis were fascinated by what we would call today niche marketing. That is, how do you tailor your messages to women, to workers, to people of different religious persuasions, and even to audiences like the blind Germans. And so they would craft those messages to those audiences. They also understood the importance of technology in reaching audiences, whether that's through the production of their own films, and they went from silent films to sound films, whether that's through creating recordings, or the use of radio, television, and eventually 3D films.
Why did the German public fall for this? They're human beings like the rest of us, and they followed him into some terrible, the worst crimes of humanity. Why do we know now, looking back, that he was able to capture their imagination?
Well, I think Hitler was able to create very alluring and seductive images of bringing a nation together. People that he had said were divided by democracy, were experiencing splintering and disintegration, and to say, you're all important, you all can be part of this German national community. But that community, of course, is under threat, from outside, from foreign countries, from internal enemies, and it has to be protected. So Hitler was able to mobilize people around very powerful ideas and also to kind of facilitate war, persecution, and genocide using the same tactics.
Talk about the anti-Semitism, because it was there in Mein Kampf. It was there early, but it seems like he jumped on that as a way to even make himself more popular. How did he use anti-Semitism to really push forward his goals?
Well, anti-Semitism was a core tenet of National Socialism. And so the Nazis promoted that and made it clear that to their followers that the Jews were a separate race, that they were not Germans. And for the Nazis, they understood, however, that not all audiences responded to anti-Semitism. When Hitler runs for president of Germany in 1932, he plays it down because he knows that isn't the message that's going to win him millions of people. But it's getting people to overlook that anti-Semitism, to say, well, I like him for this reason, or the Nazi Party, that made this party so dangerous.
It's so great, this exhibition that you've got here. Talk about how he was able to get these artists, filmmakers, graphic designers, musicians, choreographers. It's really a lot of choreography, isn't it? How did he get them all to work for his cause?
Well, I think sometimes, these artists, he hired some of the top graphic designers in Germany that designed those posters that understood how to sell products or sell messages. And sometimes they bought him because they believed in those messages. Sometimes they were hired. But and Hitler had this, whether because of his artistic training, he had an understanding of what worked artistically.
You've got a whole series of films and panels and lectures coming up here. You've done a great job putting together this exhibition. Stephen, thanks so much for coming here to Cleveland.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here, and we're thrilled that it's at the Maltz Museum. They're doing a great job, and we look forward to hearing back from them. Thank you.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.